Hello, welcome to Sprints on this Thursday evening. And we have Grandma Susan. Good evening. And I don't know why it shows your name like that. I'll see if I can tinker around and figure out why that's happening. But Grandma says, good evening, all. I'm listening to the Forget Me Not Library by Heather Weber. And it's been a glorious day here, another brisk, sunny fall day. How was your day? So where are you, Susan? I'd like to know. And Morgan says, hi, I'll be paper crafting tonight. Very nice. And welcome in, Carmen says, hello, everyone. And Jeanette is here. Hello. I'm so glad you all could join me today. It's a great fall day here in California also. It's just about 67 degrees right now. It's a good temperature. I love that temperature because it's not super cold, but there's just like a crispness in the air. So I am loving it. And let me know if you haven't, if you're going to be reading it all tonight. I have 3 books that I've started, so I will be probably starting with Murder by Cheesecake. It's the Golden Girls cozy mystery, and this is it here. Let me see. There we go. And so far, I'm just starting chapter 5, and it's been so fun. It really is like watching an episode of the TV show. Yeah, so cozy and so good. I tabbed this one thing here that I'll share with you guys in a little bit once we get a little caught up with some comments. And we have Katrina says that she's working on her Numbers Bible study homework and then reading a nonfiction book. Very, very good. And Jeanette hopes to finish Midnight on the Scottish Shore tonight, just over 50 pages left. I think you're going to do it. And Susan is in Evansville, Indiana, Southern Indiana. That's cool. I have not been to many states, probably any states on the mid to eastern side of the U.S. I've been to most of the western states. I've been to, so I'm in California. I've been to Oregon, to Washington. I've been to Utah, to Nevada, to Arizona, and to Texas. I don't think there's any other states that I've been to other than, well, Hawaii. Yeah. So that's it, the extent of my traveling in the U.S. And hello, Annie. She says, hi, Em and everyone. I'll be reading The Haunted Attic by Margaret Sutton and doing laundry. That's awesome. That Haunted Attic, I don't like really scary things, but sometimes just like a little bit of scary is good. I like it. Oh, and we've got Jamie in. Hello, Jamie. And Susan says, Murder by Cheesecake was great. The second one comes out June 2026. Oh, good. So there's not too long to wait for that. And Carmen says she has to hop off at 5 for Bible study with her cousins and aunts. That's amazing that you get to do that. But we'll join again afterward if you're still sprinting. Probably, I'm not sure how long I'll be sprinting, but I like to do at least 3 40-minute sprints and then the chit chat in between. So however long that takes, and depending on when that third sprint is over, then I might do a 4th one. So we shall see. All right, so let me read to you guys this one little thing that I tagged here. This is really funny. It really does remind me of reading an episode, but there's this good little thing here where, let's see, who is Blanche? She's trying to decide to do something or not, and she recalls something that, let's see. Okay, I thought someone had told her, but it looks like she's just thinking this in her head. You'll never change things in your life if you're not willing to get uncomfortable, she told herself. So, yeah, I think that that's a really good thing to remember, that if we always choose the easy path, we could be missing out on things that could really affect our lives positively. So that's a thought for today. Let's see. And he says it's not really haunted. It is toward a thief sneaking in and out, which is what I assumed it would be. Yeah, see, and I think I like kind of those things where it's like the Jamie Jo Wright books, how like you think, oh, is it a ghost? Is it this? And it turns out to be just like people doing things. I like that because it's like kind of Scooby-Doo-ish, and that was one of my favorite shows when I was little. And Jamie says, I just finished Prowl by Colleen Coble, and now I need to write the review. Then I will jump back in through each tomorrow. My through each tomorrow is not going to come in until next week, but I still have to read book 5 before I even get to that. And we've got Molly in the house. She says, hi, Em and everyone. And Lauren is here and she says, hi, everyone. Yeah. So we are just getting started. Besides the Golden Girls book, I also am going to try to work more on A Tale of Two Cities. So this was for my historical book club that I'm reading. And I'm doing a buddy read with Cher, and she may be in here or not. So this is called Magic Lessons, and it's by Alice Hoffman. I know some people don't like to read things with like witches and stuff. I think this is really, it's an interesting book. I'm enjoying the story. It's very clean as far as language and other things like that. Reading about witches and stuff doesn't bother me really, just how it's handled. And so far this has been very good. And let's see. Molly will be reading The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I heard about that book a while ago and it sounded very interesting to me, so I can't wait to hear what you think of it, Molly. And Susan says, what did you think of Prowl? And Jamie says, Het. Maybe. We'll get to that in a sec. Lauren says, I'm reading Edenbrook. Yay. And Jamie is saying, hey, Molly. So I bet that Het was supposed to be a hey. And Molly says, hi, Jamie. And Jamie says, hey, Lauren. And Lauren says, hi, Jamie. And Katrina, welcome in. Frank Peretti's books, Monster and Illusion, are scary mind twisters like you were explaining. Wouldn't recommend The Oath unless you like spiritual realm scary. I don't really like scary. Every once in a while, though, I am in the mood to read something a little, that could give you the chills. And Susan says, Practical Magic, based upon the book by Alice Hoffman, is one of my all-time favorite movies. I really liked that movie when it came out, too. I was just talking to a friend about it at work yesterday. I loved their little house. I loved their little town, the relationship between the family, the aunts, and the two girls. It was just, I did enjoy it a lot. And Jamie says, hey, Jeanette, by the way, and everyone else. And Lauren says, is that Humphrey in the window? Probably. Can you see him? He's moved, but yeah. Yeah, he's in the window. One of his favorite things to do. And Jeanette says, hi, Jamie. And Susan says, Jamie, what did you think of Prowl? Love that author. And Katrina says, hi, Jamie. Jamie says, I really enjoyed Prowl, probably better than book 1 of the Sanctuary series. All right. So is anybody, Morgan said she was going to be doing some paper crafting. What kind of paper crafting are you doing? I have still my diamond art that I may be working on. I do want to do some paper crafting, but I kind of feel like I always have to like have a bunch of like my tools and stuff like that around me. And I don't want to kind of clutter this area up here for the moment. I did want to say that Starbucks was having a $3 handcrafted beverage sale yesterday and today. So I did pop over there after work and I got a London Fog tea, which it's a Earl Grey base. I love it. And then I also went to Crumble because they were having free cookies. So you got a twin pack of these thin chocolate chip cookies. And they were just giving them out if you went. So if you have a Crumble near you and they're still open, maybe you can take advantage of that. And not sponsored, by the way, by any of those or anything. And Sammy is here. Hey. And we have Jill's. Well, Jill's, welcome in. I haven't seen you before. I'm glad you're here. Let us know what you're going to be working on today. And then Lauren says Crumble is amazing. It's pretty good, huh? And these are like thin chocolate chip cookies, and they look like the kind I like that are a little crispy on the outside and chewy. And they have some salt in it. So good. And Molly says, hi, Sammy and Jill. Morgan is trying to get the bases of my Christmas cards done. My Sunday school Christmas party is about a month away, so I want to get these cards done soon. Guys, I have some cards that I made for my family that I haven't mailed out yet, and I want to say that I made them like in July. So I'll go get those and show you because I thought they were really cute. Does anybody like the Goonies? Let me know. Maybe I should work on writing these cards so that I could get them mailed out. And Molly says that cookie looks so good. And she watched the Goonies once, but I love that type of film with treasure and adventures. Me too. And I like books like that too. So here's one of the cards that I made. And here's another one of the cards I made. I'm trying to get it so that the glare doesn't fall on them. And this one. And this one. This one's fun. It says, life is hard sometimes. Watch out for the booty traps. And this one. And this one says, Goonies never say die. And this is one of my favorite ones. Can you guys see that? Sparkle the treasure in the back. Yeah, so I need to write those out and get those mailed out. And Jill is going to read A Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice. Nice. Have I heard of that? I feel like I have. And Jamie says, cute. And Susan says, your cards are cute. Thank you, ladies. And Jill says the cards are cute. Thank you, Jill. And Molly says, oh, I love the cards. Thank you, Molly. And Sammy says, so cute. Thank you. I love making cards. I like scrapbooking. I do other paper crafts and stuff. But yeah, card making right now I think is my favorite paper craft to do. Okay. Well, we are just over 15 minutes in. And we're at the bottom of the comments. So I think we'll go ahead and start our first sprint, and we'll do 40 minutes. And so let's say that would put us just right around 5:30. Does that sound good? I think it's at 45 minutes. So 5:25. 5:25 we'll go to then. And just one last comment real quick. Sammy says, hi, Molly. And we'll get everything set up. Yeah, that was Humphrey for our sprints. All right, we are back. How did everybody do? So I wrote a few of those cards out so that I can just address the envelopes and get them mailed out. And I had a book club tonight, and it's a Zoom book club, so you might have seen my mouth moving there because I was in the virtual book club. We were reading Back in the Pack by Barbara Hinsky, and she was actually a guest on our book club, which is really nice because then we get to ask her all the questions we have about the book that she wrote that we are reading. So let's see what we have here. We have Tabitha in. She's late joining, but she's reading We're the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter. Hopefully you got some good progress done there in that reading. I did read a little bit more in Golden Girls before I remembered that I had book club. So I am a couple of pages away from the end of that chapter, and I'm still wondering. I was talking to Lucy about it yesterday. There's like three different characters, which I feel like any one of them could be the murder victim. And so I'm still waiting to see who it is that gets murdered, but it's, yeah, very fun. And Katrina's got her Bible study done, chilled for the last 5 minutes. Nice. And Molly read 18 pages of her book. Yay, Molly. And Jeanette did 20 pages read. Very good, very good. All right. Have any of you guys read anything by Barbara Hinsky? She writes the Guiding Emily series about Emily, who in the first book has an accident and loses her sight. She also writes the Rosemont series that is about a woman that has inherited, her husband has died, and she's inherited this estate. Um, let's see, where is she from? I think she's from California. Um, and I think it's in like back east somewhere where this estate is, but she's, making a new life for herself. That's a really nice one. And then the Paws and Pastries, a woman in the first book is going through a divorce and she just wants a fresh start, and her car breaks down in this little town, and she is making connections in that little town, but that wasn't her ultimate goal. Her goal was to move farther on to another city. But those are all they're cozy, they're gentle, they're clean, they're sometimes romance, sometimes a mystery, but it's just a nice little mental break from like all of the stuff that's going on in the real world. Um, but yeah, so I recommend any of those if you just want a little, and they're not very long, so just like a little vacation into some coziness. And hello, Scorpio rising, right? And she says, "Hey, I'm going to start A Deadly Affair by Agatha Christie." That's one of the short story compilations, right? Um, I don't think I have that one, but I'm sure I've read the stories that are in it. And Jill read 30 pages. Amazing. And Molly says, "No, I don't think I've read her books." And Scorpio says, "Yes. Yes, it is a compilation." And who else have we got in here? Cher! Yay, Cher's here. How are you doing? Did you get any reading done? Oh, you said you streamed, so probably you didn't get any reading done. Um, and Katrina wants to know if anybody's read or watched The Thornbirds. I am pretty certain that I did back in the 80s when it was on TV. Um, I think I may have also read the book around that time when I was in high school. And Morgan says she was able to get all of her paper cut down. Good job. I know sometimes that can take a while. Yeah. And Cher, I need to know what page you're on. So Cher and I are buddy reading this this book, and I need to know if I'm behind or if I'm too far ahead so that I can pace myself. And Cher says she remembers watching it in the 80s. Yep. Like back then, you didn't have access to like streaming, obviously. There were some movies that were like on VHS, but mostly if it was on TV, you were watching it because you didn't have like a lot of other options to watch at home. And Scorpio says, Katrina, I haven't read or watched The Thornbirds, but I want to watch it in the future. And Jill says, I read the book and saw the movie a long time ago. And Cher says, I'm sure you are ahead of me, and I will go find my book. All right. So, what else is going on with everybody? I finished one cookie. I'm saving the other one. I'm drinking my tea. It's a little strong, so I was going to go pour some hot water in it to kind of make it a little more mild. I think the two tea bags and that they're just been sitting in there has just made it too strong. So I'm going to go do that in the next sprint. And I do have my diamond dots that I might work on. I might get into the groove and finish writing out those cards so I can get them mailed out. And Katrina says she just found the audiobook on Libby and it looked interesting. So it was huge back in the 80s when it came out. It was the story of Meggie, and she's growing up, and there's a priest, Father de Burkassaw, I think is his name, and he is like the priest to the family there, and the matriarch of the family is very wealthy, and there's just all kinds of family drama going on. So yeah, if you like that kind of thing, it was so long ago, I honestly can't say if there was anything explicit in it. I don't know if anybody else remembers, but the movie was like on TV, so I'm sure that didn't go cross any lines. And Jeanette says, I was going to film tonight, but I want to finish my book first. I'm so close to the end. Yeah, so you had what, 50 pages? So you only have 20 left? And Katrina says, making tea for me, hot chocolate for my daughter, a couple of thin mint cookies for our evening snack. Cookies are nice. You know what else I like for an evening snack are oranges. Anybody else? My parents used to do that. We would sit down to watch Poirot or Miss Marple, and my mom would like peel oranges and like pass them around. And Scorpio says, I'm going to have hot chocolate and chocolate chip cookies. Love the double chocolate. And Annie says, got my laundry in but didn't read yet. Have been looking up doctor and dentist reviews, which is always confusing. Some people are thrilled and some say it was a nightmare. Yeah, you just never know. You could have a really good experience and then like the next person doesn't. Yeah, it's hard. All right. Let's see. What else do I have to share today? I'm super excited. Let's see. Scorpio, that you're reading Agatha Christie. She is my favorite author of all time. All these books that you can see, where are they? Over here. Those are all Agatha Christie books, and I have more. Those are just the ones that I have displayed back there. I love reading her all the time. I always have an Agatha Christie book going. Right now, I am listening to the audiobook of The Secret of Chimneys. Um, it's a comfort read for me, and there's just like a lot happening at work right now. And I just really felt like I needed that comfort. And The Secret of Chimneys, that's my book. And it's read by Hugh Fraser. And he just has just a wonderful voice. It's so he does good accents, but he also doesn't like shout or, it's not like it doesn't jar. And so when I'm going to bed and it's like my mind is just racing with all kinds of, worries and stuff, I'll put that on and I set a timer for 30 minutes and I'm probably asleep within like 5 minutes because it's just like that wonderful British accent in all of the characters and it just lulls me to sleep. And Scorpio says, that's awesome. I'm a big fan of Agatha Christie. And she loves Hugh Fraser too. Yes, that's my favorite comfort read. I always have either a physical book or an audiobook of Agatha Christie going. I like to do the Read Christie challenge that the company puts out. This year, they did it a little different where they were choosing occupations. And so there's like a little postcard that you fill in with what you read for that month that falls into that category. And then, of course, they have a suggestion. Um, and let's see, I don't think I've read the November one yet. I don't think I've even looked at what it is yet, but I will get to that soon. But yeah, right now, Secret of Chimneys, I think I only have in the audiobook a couple of hours left. And Jill says, I love Agatha Christie too. Yeah, she's good. She is good. And I mean, for being the best selling novelist of all time, and when did she die? In 1976. So we're like, almost almost 50 years. Is that right? Am I doing math right? That she's been deceased and still selling like hotcakes, and still they're making movies out of her books. Yeah. All right. Okay, I think we caught up on all of the comments there in the chat. We can start another sprint if you guys are ready. Just let me know and we can get another 40-minute sprint in, which would bring us to about 6:20. That sound good? And how's the ambiance? Was it like going in and out? Let's see. Molly says yes. Have you seen the trailer for the Seven Dials film? I have not seen the trailer, but did I see, was it Seven Dials? I saw a casting for something, but I don't remember what it was for. But yeah, I love watching the newer adaptations. That like Hugh Laurie did the adaptation for not Murder is Easy. The what was it called? Why Didn't They Ask Evans? I believe he wrote that or directed it, but he was heavily involved in that one. I really enjoyed that one a lot. And then what was it? Murder is Easy. That was a good one too. I love my classic David Suchet Poirot. I love my classic Miss Marple. I even like the Geraldine McEwen and the Julia, oh, what's her last name? But the newer Marple series, I just love it. It's so good. And Jill says, sure, to another sprint. And Molly says, sounds great. And yes, the ambiance was going in and out. I thought so. I don't know if it's my internet connection or if it's that. I don't think it's that video because I've watched it before and it's been fine. But let's try it again and we will sprint until 6:20. So let me put that banner up. and we'll get our ambiance going. Welcome back. How did everybody do? Well, let's see where we left off here. We left off with Lucy coming in. Hello. And Molly saying hi to Lucy. Jeanette says Lucy's in the house. And I said Lucy's just in time for a sprint. And that comment didn't go through, but it looks like it did now. Lucy says, I just woke up from a nap. And she's reading The Two Towers by Tolkien. And coloring. Jamie says, hi, Lucy. And Lucy says, hi, everyone. So let me know how you're doing. So I finished my book club meeting, and I read a little bit more in the Murder by Cheesecake. And someone is murdered now. They just found a body. I think I know who it is, but they haven't really said yet who it is. So yeah, I'm excited to keep going with that now that the body has been found. And Scorpio read 30 pages. Amazing. And Jill read another 30 pages. Jeanette finished her book. Yay. All right. And then also I had a sandwich for dinner that was just ham and turkey with cheese on sourdough bread. It was delicious. And I did add some water to my tea to mellow out the flavor a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. So it's Earl Grey with vanilla and cream. I think that's what the London Fog is. And Lucy read chapter 1, which was only 8 pages. That's still reading. And Molly says she thinks she read 21 pages. Not sure. I know sometimes I lose count when I'm on sprints. I don't make a note of where I started. So I don't know how far I know how far I've gotten, but I don't know what the page count is. And Jill says, I have Murder by Cheesecake in her humongous TBR. I stopped counting my unread books as a TBR because I do want to read them, but I do have so many books that I just kind of just pick what I'm reading this week instead of trying to pick or to say, I have, 50 books on my TBR. I have a lot of unread books at home, but I'm not considering them on my TBR until I pluck them out of wherever they're living right now and put them somewhere near me where I can actually read them. And Rose, welcome in. You're finishing up an essay on Vikings, and hello. That's amazing, Vikings. Very interesting. And Rose says, my current read is Housemaid's Secret. Is that part of the Frida McFadden books, the Housemaid books, or is that a completely different one? But yeah, Vikings, that's so cool. She said yes. My friend has some type of Scandinavian or something heritage, and her family made up a holiday that they celebrate that's like Vikings Day, and they have specific food. They do just all kinds of little different things to celebrate that. And Molly says, I'm the same M, not officially on my TBR until I pick them. That's right. That's right. If I counted all of the unread books that I had in my house as my TBR, I'd probably be reading for 10 years. Just kidding. Probably. If I only read those books, I think it would still take me a good year to 2 years to read them all. I don't know if share if you're out there, if you found your book, to know what page you're on. I'd love to know. And what does everybody have planned for November? How's your reading going? I have been hearing a lot of people talking about being in a reading slump or just not getting a lot of books done. Can you guys hear my cat? She might be having a hairball. No, she stopped. Audrey? Audrey? Okay, she's fine. And Lucy, no, Molly says, I've nearly finished my second book, but I'm a slow reader. And Lucy says she is so slumpy. And yes, my Audrey, she's my little chonk, and she scarfs down her food and then sometimes, has to like clear her throat, we'll say. And Annie finished her book, 4 stars. That's pretty good. And Jeanette says that she's read 2 books so far for this month, now to figure out what to start next. But didn't you just do your TBR thing, Jeanette? And Jill says, I'm a slow reader too. I don't think I'm a particularly fast reader, but I do read a lot. I find a lot of time every day to get some reading in. So I do tend to read more books. But last year, I found that in November, I was a little burnt out from all of the readathons and all the things that I was doing, which were a lot of fun. And I enjoyed and did not regret doing them. But I felt like November, I had to slow down. So I did. I only read books that I felt like reading. I kind of didn't really participate in any readathons in November. And that was nice because I felt a little refreshed going into December and being able to do all my Christmas books and all of the stuff that I wanted to do in December. And Lucy says, yay, Jeanette and Annie finishing books. Absolutely. Celebrate, celebrate. And Jeanette says she has 8 books to choose from, but which one do I actually start? Good question. And Cher is on page 68. I'm on page 92, so I will hold off on reading more of that book. Let me know, Cher, whenever you get there, then I can pick it up again and we can discuss up to that point. And Jill says, I have a bunch of books started. I pulled together the ones I have started. So I have 4. I have the Murder by Cheesecake. I have the Alice Hoffman book. I have Tale of Two Cities. And then that book club meeting that I was in today, we are reading, it's called Back in the Pack. And actually tonight was actually our last meeting, so I should have been done with this book, but I am not. Let me see if I can show you the cover. It's super cute. That particular book club, all the books that we choose have something to do with like pet rescue or just how like pets like heal you and stuff like that. And so this book is about a family that gets a dog. Try to find that cover. There we go. Ooh. Can you guys see that? Look at how cute that is, Back in the Pack. So that's the 4th book that I have started. So hopefully I will finish probably that back in the pack this week because it's a short one. I'll probably finish this one sooner rather than later just because I like mysteries and it reads pretty fast. My goodness, you guys. Audrey is licking this like it's wet. Oh, I don't know if she likes the flavor of the sticky stuff or what. But I need to keep an eye on you. Don't want you to get sick. And Jeanette says, I'm trying to see what I have on audio for tomorrow morning. Yeah, I have actually 2 books on audio, but I might save one. So I'm listening to The Secret of Chimneys. And then, actually, I also have A Tale of Two Cities on audio because I'm going back and forth between reading and listening. But I just got the new Sophie Hannah is a thriller writer, but she writes the new Poirot continuation novels, and she just released one a few days ago. And I got it on audiobook, but it takes place around New Year's, so I might save that for around that time because I do kind of like to read, those holiday books like close to the holiday of when they are happening. And Morgan says, I spent that sprint sorting out which paper designs match with one another. Very nice. And Cher will be back in 25 minutes. She's dropping her daughter off at the theater. I love her daughter. She is like totally into theater, just like I was when I was her age. So it's so fun that she gets to do these theater classes and then performances. Yeah, it's super cool. It really is very nostalgic to me. And I think, oh, I should get involved in community theater, but I have no time for that. And then Annie says, I didn't do a TBR for this month. It is going to be a busy month with other things for me. Absolutely. And Annie, do I know that you had a channel? Let me see. We will look. We will look. Or do you mean that you just didn't write up a TBR? Let me know. There's a lot of Annie O'Briens. Okay, Annie, let me know if you have a channel so I can keep searching out for it. Let's get back to these comments. Molly says, Back in the Pack is so cute. That little puppy, isn't that so cute? Like if I had like a big house with a big yard, I might have a dog as well as my cats. But for my size of my home, these 2 cats are about as much as I can have. And Jill says, that's a cute cover. Yeah, it's super cute. And Molly says, one of my cats kept biting a dried flower my mom had dried. Oh my goodness. Audrey loves, I don't know if you guys remember if you were in any of my sprints over the last month. I had a vase of flowers back here on this little table. And Audrey, she loves like silk flowers, but she likes to chew them. And so she's been doing really good. Well, at least when I've been home, I haven't seen her, but I moved them because I caught her. She was trying to chew on one of the leaves. So I had to put it up on the mantle where she can't get to it. And Annie says, Molly, our cat used to do that. He actually opened the drawer they were in and dragged them throughout the house. Yeah. So I used to have different floral arrangements here and there, but if Audrey can get to them, she wants to chew them, and then she like beheads the stems, and there's like flowers throughout. And Annie says, no, I don't have a channel. I just didn't write one up. Okay, gotcha. All right. I don't really make TBRs. I did when I started my channel, I did do some TBR videos. But I ended up not really reading what I had chosen for my TBR for that month. Sometimes even for like a readathon or whatever. So I stopped doing them. Then I started doing like a weekly one because that's more how I pick my books. It's like, what am I reading this week? Um, but I really wasn't getting to the ones that I hadn't already started that week because other books would come up and I would start those instead of like the leftover ones that I hadn't started from the week before. So I didn't think that that was very helpful to me, to like actually do that. So basically, it's what I'm reading right now, and I usually have 3 or 4 books going. I like to have an audiobook, I like to have an ebook, and I like to have a physical book. And then if any others come in, it could be any of them. Um, but yeah, so that's better for me, is to just read what I feel like reading or what's immediate and not have books guilting me because I haven't gotten to them. And Molly says, oh no, Annie, what a cheeky cat. And Susan says, for me, my TBR is huge. I add books that sound good for the future. I like have lists. I usually carry a notebook. I don't see it. There it is. I usually carry a little notebook like this in my purse, and I write everything in here. This is ever since I was in high school. This is what I tend to do. I had like one of those planners, but I would just like use the pages to just write down whatever, whether it was a shopping list, things that I needed to do, things I wanted to remember. So that's what this is. I'm going to show you guys my horrible writing and stuff, but I do like little diagrams and things, scrapbook layouts, card layouts. If I have an idea, I jot it down in here. So this is not anything that's presentable, but it works for me to get my ideas down. So I do have a page in here where I write down books that I want to read. But they may or may not all make it onto the same page. And then I may or may not get into them or start them any quicker than ones that I don't put on the list. So like I had Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose on my list for almost a year before I actually like started it. And it was so good. So it's not that they're not good or that I'm not interested, but there's usually something else that comes up. So like for this, the Tale of Two Cities, that was for a historical book club that I'm in. Back in the Pack, that was a book club book. This one is a buddy read. So the only one that I picked up that I just felt like reading was the Murder by Cheesecake. So it's not a buddy read. It's not for book club. It's not for a readathon. It might fit into something that's a readathon that's happening this month, but I don't have it like picked for one. So this is like absolutely just a mood read, which is nice. And Susan says she has 3 to 4 books going at a time. Also definitely a mood reader. And Jill says, I go between physical and ebook. My mind has a tendency to wander, so I don't get audiobooks. My mom has said that too, because she likes large print because she can see it, and some books aren't available in large print. So I suggested, why don't you do an audiobook? Because also she's like, oh, I don't have time to read because, this, that, and the other. And I was like, try an audiobook. So I think I got one for her. And she's like, no, she's like, she didn't say her mind wandered. She said something else. She's like, I miss things, I think is what she said. But I think that that's it, that she's not focused on listening. It's more background noise to her. So she misses things. But yeah, so it's not for everybody. I do like an audiobook. Um, let's see. And Susan says, I'm legally blind, so I mainly listen to audiobooks. It was an adjustment and I use a timer. Well, that's a good idea. And Rose says, finished my paper and now I finally get to read. Good job finishing your paper. That's so fun. Is that for like a course that you're taking? And Susan says, awesome, Rose. Very good. Yeah, so I'm really, let's see, we're at 6:41. Have we done 2 sprints or 3? I think, has it been 3? We started at 4:30. 5:36. No, we probably have only done 2, huh? Okay, so we will go into another sprint here. And let's see. Rose says, yes, ma'am. And Jeanette is reminding me we've done 2. And Susan wants to know, what are you going to read, Rose? Yay, Jamie, she's finished her book review. And Molly, she's going to go now if she needs to go to bed. Thank you for the sprint. So you're welcome, Molly, and I hope to see you again on a future sprint, and I will chat with you later. Have a great night. Get good rest. Okay, so let's get another sprint started. I think I need to find out who this body is in my book, and then maybe I'll switch to get some progress done on either Tale of Two Cities or Back in the Pack. And Lucy is saying bye, Molly. Okay, let's get this going. And welcome back. And we have Kelly. She says, Hi, Em. Hi, everybody. I'm crocheting a book sleeve. That is so cool. I did one probably when I was like 18 or 19 for my Bible. And I used the thin crochet thread. And I don't remember that it took me a really long time, but I decided to do another one a couple of years ago, and I was just not making very much progress in it. So I think, I don't know, I don't remember how long it took me that first time, but it must have taken me a while because it sure was taking a long time to the point that I gave up the couple of years ago when I was trying again. And Tori says, Hey everyone, I just finished crocheting and am now reading Wuthering Heights. Good job. It's been a while since I've read that, and I keep, like, it's in the air. I keep hearing people talking about it. And Whitney, hello. She says, Hi everyone. Good job, Lucy. She read 10 more pages. And Whitney is reading Eden Brook and is in chapter 12. There was somebody else reading Eden Brook tonight. And Tabitha read 21 pages. Great job. So I read another chapter and a half or two in my book. And I was really disappointed because I was on the point at the end of the last sprint of finding out, or like, getting the actual information of who it was that was the murdered person. And I thought, based on the description, that I knew who it was, but it wasn't confirmed for like 2 more chapters. So now it finally is, but it took a while. Look, I am this far into the book where you find out who it was that was murdered. But it's good. I like it. And again, all the characters are so familiar and they act in the book just as they acted on the TV show. So that is super fun. All right. And let's see. I think I might switch my book. During that sprint, I also cuddled my cat because he came around, and I got a cold drink. And what else did I do during that sprint? I think that's probably about it. And Whitney wants to know if it's the Golden Girls mystery book. Yes, it is, ma'am. Murder by Cheesecake. You can see the Golden Girls right there. Yep. And Carmen is back. She says, Yay, you are still here. We are. We just finished the 3rd sprint. I don't know how anybody else is feeling, if we are up for another sprint in a little bit. Let's see. What else went on during that sprint? I think that's it. Had some cat time with both of my cats. Read a little. Got a cold drink. I think that's it. And Whitney says, I've been curious about that one. I used to watch the show some in high school, but it's been years. Yeah, it's like, I want to say, is it Hallmark Channel? One of the Hallmark channels that usually plays the Golden Girls. You can find them. And it's so fun. So if you have this book, Whitney, or if you can get it from the library or something, so far. So I would say I'm just over a third, or at about a third, and it has been like a new episode of the Golden Girls. It's just really fun. Yep. And Lucy wants more sprints. So Lucy, are you doing anything besides reading, or are you just focusing on reading? Did you notice the ambiance? I changed it. It was like hobbits. And Whitney says, I love the cover. I will have to check it out. I miss the humor. Yeah, oh, totally. Totally. You got Sophia throwing down the quips like she used to do, and Dorothy just like sending them right back at her. You got Blanche that's all over the good looking guys. And yeah, it's so good. And Rose being Rose and all her St. Olaf stories. And this book, especially, the mystery is centered around a lot of people from St. Olaf. So it's pretty good. And Jill switched books and read a few pages of A Murder on the Mountain by Ellie Alexander. That is on my radar to read that book. I'd like to start that. Is that the first one of that series? And Jeanette says she's back. She got a video filmed during that sprint. Excellent. I forgot that I was supposed to be editing a video that I filmed last night after Lucy's sprints. I did some editing during my break and lunch today because I worked from home. So, it was not hard to just like get my phone out and start editing, but I still need to finish. And Cher is back from eating dinner, and Lucy is just reading. Yeah. I had that sandwich for dinner, and I'm not regretting it because it was tasty, but I really wish that I had had like a more meal. I'm fine though. I'm not like hungry or anything. And then Lucy says she's putzing on her coloring app during the chatty parts. Oh, is that the kind of coloring that you were doing? I thought you were doing like coloring book coloring. I have a cozy coloring book that I'm doing, that I'm using alcohol pens for. I took it out of my bag. I don't know where I put it. Oh, there it is. Top of the coffee table. Let me show you guys. This is my coloring book that I'm doing now. Girl Moments, cute and comfy coloring book. And there's the cover page. And this is just, look at that little goldfish. And this is the one that I'm working on right now. It's like kind of a bathroom scene. So it's just fun, just something relaxing to do. Whitney asks if we have any novella suggestions. She's wanting to try more of them. Like, what genre do you want to read in, Whitney? And Jill says, yes, first in the Meg Read Investigate series. Yeah, I do want to start that series. I have a lot of series, though, that I should like probably do more progress on before I start new ones, but that's never stopped me before. And Lucy says, ooh, the coloring book. Yeah, so there's like, this one is Coco Wyo is the artist, but there's a couple of other ones too that very similar style. And I think I have 5 coloring books that are similar style, but it's 3 different artists. And Cher says turkey, chili, and cornbread. Oh, chili and cornbread. Anybody else? I love that. And do you guys like crumble the cornbread into the chili and I put cheese and sour cream in it? Oh my goodness. And Whitney wants a Coco Wyo coloring book. They are the cutest. They are super cute. And whoops, I skipped Lucy's. Lucy says, I have so many of the extremely detailed ones. I need something simpler. Yeah, that's why I like these, the Coco Wyo. And if I can locate my other ones, I had them out the other day. I'll put in the comments, or maybe I'll do like a little vlog where I include some coloring and showcase those coloring books. But yeah, the the drawings have like these big areas. So here's like some more in the back that you can see. So they're not super complicated. There are some like little things, but it's not, you can see I can flip through here. It's not extremely detailed like those tiny little ones. I have those coloring books too, but usually those I use with color pencils, or like these I will use with alcohol markers or even crayons. I think I still have some crayons somewhere around. Okay, and then Rose says, I know a whole series that is under 100 pages. It's called the Guy Van Doe series. Also, this is Rose, and I am now on my own laptop, or now on my laptop. Okay. Rose. Okay, same Rose, I'm assuming. And Lucy says, yes, chili and cornbread. That's such a fall dish. Well, even winter, because like in January, February, I still love a bowl of chili with cornbread. And Whitney says, any genre as long as it's not horror or strictly romance. Whitney, you weren't here when I was talking earlier about Barbara Hinsky. She's an author and she writes several series. They are all very cozy series. She was just a guest at our book club earlier in the evening, and she was talking about why she writes those kind of books. And she was saying that when she was talking to, I guess, her publisher about what kind of books she was going to be writing, and they're like, well, you got to write to this particular audience. And so she was thinking of that audience, which I guess was women. And she's like, well, women, she's like, I pictured in my head a woman that was going on a flight from California to New York and that wanted to be able to just read and finish her book. So her books are novellas, most of them. And she's like, there's so much going on in the world. She's like, I wanted it to be an escape, to be something that could give a person rest, because there aren't like extremely dramatic situations and things like that. So I would say, like, I call them gentle books because that's what it feels like. It just feels like you're just wrapped in a cozy blanket, sipping your hot chocolate and enjoying this nice story. And so she has the series that I have read by her are the Guiding Emily series. There was a Hallmark movie that was made out of the first book, and that is about a woman that loses her sight and then is having to deal with learning how to continue living her life and still growing in spite of her loss of vision. And that's a good series that she gets a guide dog, and that's why it's called Guiding Emily. And then there's another series that I just started called Rosemont. And that one all kind of centers around this estate and just kind of like little town things. In the first book, there is a kind of mystery because the town employee pension has been ripped off. So they're trying to find out who ripped it off and what they can do to like better that situation. And then the other series is the Paws and Pastries. And I would recommend that one to you, Whitney. That one is about a woman that has just gone through a divorce and she wants a fresh start. So she packs up her car and she drives, and she has like this city in mind as her destination because she is a pastry chef and she wants to open a business, and she thinks that the city would be a good place to do that. Well, her car breaks down outside of this little town, and it's right before Christmas, and either Christmas or Thanksgiving. And she meets the townspeople, and everybody's so helpful. And this is so alien to her. But it's a nice, feel good, heartwarming story. I think there's 3 or 4 books in the series, and I've read them up to date. And they're just, like I said, it's just like a nice little cozy escape, and they're short. Lucy, I skipped you. Let me go back. I got your coloring book. This one. I got that one. I got the coloring app and that you're just reading. And this was the first one where you wanted more sprints. And we did talk about chili and cornbread. And Whitney says, Lucy, that happens sometimes on your sprints too. I think you skip me, but they just come in at different times for you when you're hosting it. I think you're right. Yeah. And then if a comment comes in while you're clicking and it moves, then you do skip, but it's an accident, not on purpose. And Cher says, yes, with sour cream and cheese on top. And then I eat my cornbread over the bowl and it crumbles in. I purposefully crumble in my cornbread, but yes, with the cheese and the sour cream. Oh, I know, Whitney, I was just kidding. Oh, no. And I went through all those comments. Lucy says, it's difficult to keep up sometimes. And Whitney says, okay, haha. And Jamie says, I eat my chili with Fritos. I used to do that too, like a Frito boat. That's what I called it. And Rose says, same one, but different account. This is my book account. Okay. All right. I have different accounts too. So Cher, you guys may know from prior sprints, we met because she's doing meetup here in our town. And it was at a coffee shop and I showed up and it was the two of us and we got to know each other. And then pretty soon it grew and grew and grew. But that's how I know her, from knitting. And so we did 5 episodes of a knitting podcast. So I have an account where that lives. And then I have my personal account that I use for, I don't know, various like family things and stuff. And then I have this account. And Lucy says, I wanted to start a new diamond art tonight and listen to the Andy Circus, but cramps are insufferably bad today, so not up to much more than reading. Yep, I get that. Do you have a warmie, Lucy? I have this one out right now. It's an owl, but it's like stuffed with something, but you put it in the microwave or the refrigerator, and then it'll be hot or cold, and you can put it on your cramps. And Whitney says, ooh, I'll have to check her out. That sounds like it is for me. Yes, give me the gentle books. Yeah. And can you type the author's name in the chat? Absolutely. Her name's Barbara Hinsky, and she's just super nice. She used to be a lawyer, but now she's she's retired from that and writing full-time. Yeah, I figured that out, Lucy. And then I went back, and she was just giving me a hard time. And now she feels bad, but she shouldn't because it was funny. And Rose says, Cher knits. Yes, girl, that's exactly how I love my chili. I'm telling you. Chili. Okay, do we have any Texas people in the chat, like with the no bean chili? And Whitney says, warmies are so cute. We have one that looks like our dog. That is super cute. I have a few because they have sales. Last year I got my first one and it was the little gingerbread girl and she was just so adorable. And like after Christmas, I didn't want to put her away. But then I got, what was the next one that I got? I have a bobcat, a turtle, and I have this owl, and then I have the gingerbread. I think that's it. So I have 4 of them. Okay. And there is the author, Barbara Hinsky. And hello, Chibi Jirachi. Nice. Warmies are great. I have a goat. Oh, a goat would be so cute. And Jeanette says that's a cute heat pad. Mine are just boring bags. I have made some of myself where you put the rice in them for like your neck and stuff. Oh my goodness. So whether they're boring or not, if they work, I wouldn't call them boring. And Cher says, Rose, yes, it's the yummiest. And Rose says, Sharon, it's mm-hmm. And Lucy says, we get warmies at TJ Maxx. I will have to get one. Yep, I really like mine a lot. Okay, so we're back. We're at 7:40. If we do a 40-minute sprint, that'll take us to about 8:20. So we can get one started and get some more reading done. I'm still of two minds of whether I want to continue this book right now or switch to something else. I might, now I feel like coloring, I might switch to my audiobook of The Secret of Chimneys and then do some coloring. I might do that. And Lucy, I hope your cramps feel better or go away. Let's get a couple more comments in. Jamie says, here in Louisiana, some eat chili with beans and some do not. I prefer with, so do I. Of course, in Louisiana, we like gumbo when it's cold. You know what, Jamie? I'm not a big spicy eater, but I do love the taste of gumbo, but I really have to gird up my loins to eat it, because if it's spicy, then I'm just like, I don't know. Like Disneyland has a really good gumbo and you can get it in a bread bowl, but it's spicy. So I have to have like some milk or something to cut the spice. Whitney says, Lucy, I thought of you when I was at TJ Maxx this past week and you would have been appalled at the chaos. For some reason, our Marshalls is just more organized than our TJ Maxx. And Rose says, I'm in South Carolina. Nice. And Annie says, I got to page 239 in Brentwood's Ward by Michelle Greep. And Jamie says, I do not like my gumbo overly spicy. I don't like anything overly spicy. There's a lady at my work and she'll make curry and it's delicious, but like she always wants me to try it. But I feel like sometimes it's too hot. So I always have to ask her, how spicy is it? And she always says, oh no, it's not spicy at all. And I taste it and then my mouth's on fire. But I do like curry. I like all those spices. I like all those flavors. I just don't want it to take my mouth out and then I can't taste anything. Lucy says, OMG, you sissies, bring on the heat. It's just that thing, Lucy. I want to be able to taste my food, and if it's too spicy, then I can't taste anything. Okay, let's get our sprint going on. And we are back. All right. So how did everybody do? I got to the end of a chapter in my book here. So I've read 8 chapters now. And the chapter headings, oh my gosh, guys. This last one that I read was called Miami 5-0 No. And then the one before that was Out of the Freezer into the Frying Pan. The Way the Cheesecake Crumbles. The Sweets Hereafter. Pickle My Fancy. It's really fun. So yeah, so I'm right there. Chapter 9. I did some coloring. So I still have some stuff over here to color. I never know which way to go when I'm facing the camera. This I need to color. And I started to update my reading log. What else did I do? I guess that's what I did. I did listen to The Secret of Chimneys for while I was coloring. And let's get to these comments here. Lucy says heat is the flavor. Duh. I don't know that that's the case. At least not in my mouth. And Jamie says our school cafeteria did gumbo today and it was surprisingly good. A lot of time we have to add seasoning to theirs, but today it was on point. Cool deal. I used to love cafeteria lunches. We had really good food. It was cooked on site. And Lucy says, OMG Whitney, every single Marshall's I have ever been to has been a hot mess. Mm-hmm. Lucy, do you find that when you're traveling, you try to find a TJ Maxx or Marshall's to go into? And Jamie says, night, y'all. Night, Jamie. And Kelly says, you guys, I got so caught up in listening to my book and crocheting that I totally checked out from everything else. That is the best. That means you were really invested in your book and in your project. Awesome. I love it. And Kelly says, I'm tapped out for the night. Good night, everyone. Thanks for the sprints. It was great motivation to get this little project done. Well, you are welcome. And I am going to be crocheting later, probably tomorrow night and Saturday. I have a little birthday party that I'm going to for my friend's granddaughter. She's turning 2, and I want to crochet her a little purse to carry her little board books. And Lucy read 5 pages. Good job, Lucy. And Morgan finished 4 cards during the last sprint and read 3 chapters of The Bitter End Birding Society by Amanda Cox during that sprint. Good job. Good job. Tabitha, 23 pages. Awesome. And Jeanette didn't read, updated her reading journal, and worked on uploading clips. Guys, I forgot to edit my video again. Darn it. She's uploading clips to her computer. Good job. And Rose read 48 pages of The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. And also, she's going to bed because I have to be awake at 7:30 tomorrow. Good night, Rose. I hope you have a very good, restful night. And Jill says, I dozed off a bit. LOL. It's getting late here on the East Coast. Yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11, almost 11:30. And Rose says, good night. And Lucy, yes, because our stores don't get the same things. Isn't that interesting? But yeah, I think a lot of stores, even stores that you wouldn't think, like Walmart. I go to the Walmart where my sister lives, and the stuff that they have there is completely different than like the Walmart where my cousin lives. And that's complete. Both of those are completely different to the Walmart where I live. And Lucy says, my coloring app distracted me that sprint. Distracted you that sprint? I sometimes get really distracted by games on my phone. And Carmen didn't read, had a dog duty, and it's pouring down rain. Oh no, it rained here, not today, but yesterday. And it was fine. I mean, I like the rain, but it wasn't a downpour. And I wasn't like in the rain other than from the office to my car home to inside the house. So it was not bad. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me tonight. I sure had a lot of fun. I got some reading done, got some other things done too. And it looks like Jeanette also is heading out. Time for bed. Have a good night. Yep. Good night, everyone. With sprints next Thursday, 4:30 seems to be working out for me to start them. So we'll do that again next week. And if you all can think of any themes for a sprint, you can just post. I usually will post in on my channel in the post part that reading sprints are coming up. Just comment on there if you can think of a theme for sprints so that I can like decorate this behind me. Let me know. Lucy says, TJ Maxx doesn't have an inventory system, so we don't know what they are going to send us, nor can we order specific items for customers. Huh. I used to work at David's Bridal. I was a sales manager here at the one near me. And we did a lot of cross shipping because all the stores we had the one inventory system. So we could, if we knew that we had this customer that wanted this dress, but we only had it in a 6 and she needed a 4, we could go into that and see that they had a 4 in Florida and, could order it to be shipped out to our store. So it's interesting to me, but maybe there's just so many TJ Maxxes that it would be a nightmare to do that kind of thing. And Jill says, thanks for the sprints. Have a good night. Good night, Jill. And Cher says, good night, everyone. Lucy says, yes, distracted. And yeah, no, we don't have that ability. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for stopping by and having some sprint reading time with me. I will see you all next week, and I will have that video edited, so I'll be posting that, if not tomorrow, then on Saturday. One more here. Lucy, we can't even look up what other stores have. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame, but I understand it because just of the sheer number of stores involved and the items that you get, it would just be a nightmare to like try to find it and get it off the floor before somebody bought it up. And Lucy says, bye, everyone. And Carmen says, thank you, Em. Good night, everyone. Yes. Good night, and I'll be ending the sprints now. I'll see you next week.